All right. I'm going to try this without a microphone. I think I'm loud enough, but if you all need me to put a microphone on, you let me know. I'm normally a non-mic guy, but I'm also not used to talking and crying, so we'll see how this goes. I'm also not used to needing to write everything down, but I really wanted to make sure I found the right words to celebrate Jessica. So first, I want to begin by thanking you all for being here to celebrate my sister, Jessica Lynn Muchow. Living without her will never be easy, but being surrounded by people who loved her reminds me of how deeply she mattered. I appreciate you all being here and helping us celebrate her life. Jessica had a profound way of spreading love and happiness, and I ask that we strive to do the same today in her honor. As we settle in, I'd like to give a special thank you to my wonderful wife, Natalie. Without her love and support, I would not have been able to make this happen today. Furthermore, you have provided the knowledge, strength, and compassion and grace that our family has needed during very dark and difficult times. Jessica benefited from your wisdom and your care until her final days. I know this role weighs heavily on you, but you are our rock, and we are forever indebted to you. At this time, I'd like to take a few moments to remember Jessica through photos, capture her laughter, her light, and her many personalities that made her who she was. As the music plays, I hope you'll allow yourself to smile, reflect, and remember her in your own way. I was there, visiting hours, so I could just show up and bring the news. She's getting old, and I wish that you met her. The things that you learned from me, I got them all from you. I just stay around you, but all the world's a mess. The little ones who roll it out to name your favorite one. The sibling boys and girls that I'll see you another day. So much has changed since you've been away. I wish it ever had visiting hours, so I could just swing by and ask your advice. What would you do in my situation? I haven't a clue how I'd even raise them. What would you do? 'Cause you always do what's right. And we just don't go out till my worries disappear. I'll tell you that I can't turn out failure. You say you remember that the answer's in the love we feel. So much has changed since you've been away. I was never at visiting hours, and I would ask them if I could take you home. I know what they say, that it's for the best. So I will live life the way you taught me and make it on my own. I will close the door and I'll open up my heart. And everyone I love will
As we come out of these moments and images, I invite you to hold on to your favorite memory of Jessica, something that brings her to you clearly and warmly. Please keep that memory with you as we continue. I'd now like to invite Michelle to come forward and read a version of She Is Gone by David Harkins, adapted for Jessica.
No, I think I'm okay. Everyone can hear me. So this is called She Is Gone. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow because she's not there, or you can be happy for tomorrow knowing that she is always with us. You can remember her and only that she is gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry, close your mind, be empty, and turn your back, or you can do what she would want, smile. Open your eyes, love, and go on. Thank you.
I picked a really bad time to need to start wearing glasses. Thank you, Michelle. As we remember Jessica, I ask that we continue in celebration. We are all blessed to have known Jessica, and her impressions on us will last our lifetime. I know with all of my heart that Jessica would demand that we remember her with a smile on our faces and love in our hearts. And when she was demanding something, it was for sure happening. Jessica was the most unique blend of complexity and straightforwardness that is humanly possible. She never hid what she was thinking or feeling, as her emotions were genuine and fierce. You know this if you've ever heard her screams of interaction with her favorite movies. You know this even more if you've ever pissed her off. Jessica had the ability to let all of life's trials and tribulations meld away as if they never existed. She faced adversity that most of us cannot even begin to understand. Through it all, she maintained a level of strength not seen since Frank Gore was in the 49ers backfield. A stubbornness that ensured life would beat to her drum, and dedication to squeeze joy out of every minute she had on this planet. Many moons ago, Jessica lost the ability to swallow, and her ability to speak diminished significantly. She had to learn to live without the satisfaction of her favorite meals or the relief of cold water on a hot summer day. Yet she pushed on. She had to develop a completely new type of communication, and she mastered it, one grunt at a time. She made sure we all knew what she wanted to communicate. Through it all, the doctor's prognosis estimated that she wouldn't live beyond 16 years old, to which she said, which roughly translates into, "Screw you, world, I'm not done yet." Turns out she had the ability to break everything humans know about health and medicine and go on to live another 3 decades. Jessica was a fighter. Her superpower was an unwillingness to accept limitations. I hope that we can all learn from her tenacity and ferocity toward life. We have so much more power than we all know and realize. Growing up with Jessica also meant witnessing an extraordinary example of devotion. Our mom cared for her with tireless love, patience, and strength, day after day, without hesitation and without conditions. This was no small task. As you all know, Jessica was the queen of being ornery. Remember that complexity I mentioned earlier? I can't express this enough. She was simultaneously a ball of joy and a 90-year-old curmudgeon willing to fight anything. Nevertheless, Mom's care was constant and selfless, always putting Jessica's need first and extending that same care to everyone around her. She gave her time, her energy, and her whole heart, never asking for anything in return. Caring for others wasn't something she did, it is who she is. That kind of love is rare, and it surrounded Jessica every single day. Mom, thank you for supporting Jessica throughout her life and positioning her to be a gift to all of us. Alongside that unwavering care, there were countless moments of joy, humor, and connection, moments that still make us smile when we think of Jessica. Now I'd like to ask Dad to come up and share some of those stories with us.
I brought some motivation, and I need a little. I apologize, but I wrote notes as well. Jonathan and I talked often recently, and I didn't think I could make it through this without jotting down my thoughts. Helen Keller encapsulates my feelings well in her quote, "What we have once enjoyed and deeply loved, we can never lose. All that we love becomes deeply part of us." Please let me begin by thanking Jonathan and Natalie for planning, inviting each of you, and making this event just perfect. Here's to Jonathan and Natalie. Please join me. Cheers. I have a few of those planned. Jessica's disposition early in life was loving, happy, and a little mischievous. More recently, she was opinionated, hard-headed, and wanted everything her way. She certainly took after her mother. In the first part of her life, and me in the latter, if you think I'm going to call Lori opinionated, hard-headed, and wanting everything her way, oh no, let me be clear. I want to visit Jessica in heaven, but not today. Thank you, Lori. Lori and I were too young to have kids. We did not know how hard it would be to be parents. We simply persevered. Lori's Nana, father, as well as my mother, Diane, and her partner, Sue, were especially helpful with advice and baby supplies. Sue was a nurse at Petaluma Valley and was there for Jessica's delivery. When Jessica was born, she was so quiet. You remember? She was the perfect child. She hardly cried as a baby. When Jessica was about 3 weeks old, Sue and Diane told Lori and me that Jessica had Down syndrome. We had no clue what Down syndrome was or what we were supposed to do. We learned that Jessica had low muscle tone, like many children with Down syndrome, which explained why she did not cry much. Throughout Jessica's life, Lori and I came to understand that having a child with Down syndrome was a gift. You see, Jessica was born full of love. Jessica was love. Jessica and Lori were inseparable. On rare occasions that I watched the kids while Lori went to the store, no one was happy. Can you vouch for that? Okay. When she returned as if they had just been released from dad jail. Jessica was so fortunate to have Lori as her mom. Except for school, Lori was with Jessica 24/7 for her entire life. Please raise your glass with me as we toast the perfect mom for Jessica, Lori. Thank you for everything you've done. When Jessica was a baby, we lived in a house right next door to Wendy's in Petaluma. You remember, don't you? Some of you may remember my 21st birthday party. It was quite the party, with a suckling pig on the spit, lots of beer, and the police following Matt and Mike into our driveway. Thanks, Mike. You thought I forgot. One of my warmest memories was the time when we were running a cable from one side of the living room to the other, with a sliding pulley hooked to a makeshift canvas for Jessica. She was more than a year old and had not yet begun to crawl. Jessica wanted to crawl but could not support her weight. After some practice and muscle toning, she was finally free to move. Of course, only back and forth. Another memory that Lori and I share is the Costco story. We were watching a movie in the family room at the end of the house. If you're a parent, you know the only thing worse than kids making noise is when they're silent. I think we both realized something was wrong at the same time. As we walked down the hall, there was an odd coating on the wall, growing in quantity and texture as we went. The trail led us out the back door, along the rear sidewalk, to a showcase of determination in my newly sodded lawn. There sat Jessica with a mostly empty bucket of Costco peanut butter. Jessica was covered head to toe, as was a 3-foot circle of my new lawn. As if this was not funny enough, our miniature schnauzer was sitting next to Jessica, trying feverishly to swallow the peanut butter. We laughed so hard we were crying. Then we had to clean it up. Jessica was determined. From the day Jessica was born, she meant everything to Jonathan. He didn't care, this is Lori's words, he didn't care if Lori came home from the hospital as long as his little sister did. When we found out she had Down syndrome, we were connected with North Bay Regional Center, who sent Larry to teach each of us how to help make her stronger. Jonathan learned everything that Larry taught us, and several times per day he worked with her. He was always asking me if I could help. To John, it was not work. It was simply being with his sister, playing with her, and helping her grow stronger. Even when they played together, Jonathan was never too rough with Jessica, but he was also never too easy on her. He loved stealing her pacifiers, which Lori would say was the only mean thing he ever did. He helped her accomplish milestones like rolling over, walking, and talking. He was always protecting her, even standing up to his own friends if they said anything unkind. They shared an incredible bond. Even when he teased her and she would try to get him in trouble, I truly believe she loved every minute of it. She could not have asked for a better brother. From her birth, they shared an incredible bond. Please raise your glass and toast Jonathan, the perfect brother for Jessica. It's not as much courage as I thought. Goodness. Both Jonathan and Jessica were driving well before age 16, well, 12 for that matter. Lori knows. Someone left the car running, and Jonathan drove it through the store's plate glass window in Petaluma. I think that was when my gray hair started sprouting. On another occasion, I suspect Jessica would not have been outdone by her brother. She somehow got Lori's car into neutral and rolled it downhill across the street into the neighbor's house. Thank God there was no oncoming traffic and no one was hurt. Jessica was mischievous. While Jessica was going to school, she wore hearing aids. She did not like them, and it's hard to tell how well they worked. When her teacher forgot to remove them and put them back in her backpack before leaving school, before she got home, the bus driver would always say he hoped he found all the pieces on the floor because she would take them out and tear them apart. Then there was the time that Kurt was supposed to be watching another one of these stories, Lori. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Then there was the time that Kurt was supposed to be watching Jessica because I was leaving. Kurt wanted me to leave her hearing aids in. When I got home, she didn't have them on, and I didn't know where they were. Nana kept asking Jessica where they were, and finally she pointed to the pond in the backyard. She had thrown her hearing aids into the pond. Jessica was persistent. One of my favorite stories comes from one of her birthday parties. I believe she was turning 5 or 6. She opened a birthday card from Gina, looked inside, turned to me, and said, "Mommy, no money, no money." That year, she had been getting money in almost every card, and from then on, Gina always remembered to put money in her birthday cards. I think it was 1992 when Jessica was visiting Dottie and me for Thanksgiving. Jessica had been acting sick and not eating or drinking. She was getting worse, and we took her to the clinic at Two Rock Coast Guard Station. They transferred her to David Grant Medical Center. Jessica had suffered a stroke. The next 2 years were a blur of lengthy hospital stays. We learned that Jessica had a rare disease called moya moya, or clouding of the brain. A little more courage. Pause. Jessica had made major brain surgery in an attempt to connect the blood supply to her neck to her brain. This was unsuccessful and caused another major stroke. She was in intensive care for what seemed like forever. Lori never left Jessica's side. Lori played Jessica's favorite Disney movies 24/7. She played them so often that the VCR tape stretched and then broke. Jessica was resilient. Finally, my family can attest that I'm always building or remodeling something. Jessica was my favorite helper. She would stand on the first rung of the ladder until I reached around to secure her on the way up. She spent hours on the roof or under the house with me. When I mowed the lawn, Jessica rode in the trailer with a lawn chair tied in the trailer. She was with me everywhere. Jessica was determined. She was mischievous. She was persistent. She was resilient. Jessica was love and is love. Thank you very much.
I always knew how special Jessica was. Since her birth, there was an unspoken bond between us. In our youth, I didn't understand her strength. I thought I needed to protect her from the world. Excuse me. Yeah. I was always angry when people didn't understand her or made fun of her for no reason. I was ready to fight the world, and I did many times. Still undefeated. I never understood their dogmatic prejudice. I was guarded and protective, ready to pounce on the smallest bit of intolerance. I always thought of this as a lesson for me, that I needed to safeguard those who are vulnerable and be a protector for all whom I love. I am happy and comfortable in this position. However, recently, I was watching the show Ted Lasso. If you haven't seen it, 10 out of 10 recommend. No, like seriously, it's really good. You should watch it. Anyway, there's a scene that has changed my thinking about so many of those childhood conflicts. I'm going to quote Ted here for a moment. Guys have underestimated me my entire life, and for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. Then one day, I was driving my little boy to school, and I saw a quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there, and it said, "Be curious, not judgmental." I like that. So I get back in my car, and I'm driving to work, and all of a sudden it hits me. All them fellas that used to belittle me, not a single one of them was curious. You know, they thought they had everything all figured out. So they judged everything, and they judged everyone. And I realized that they're underestimating me. Who I was had nothing to do with it, because if they were curious, they would have asked questions. This quote has hit me hard since Jessica passed. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sorry for the consequences I doled out. I handled it the only way I knew how at the time. But now looking back, I realize the source of my anger, and I have begun to realize it wasn't just anger. The anger masked my sadness. I was sad that they didn't have the curiosity to ask questions. Like, why is it so amazing to have a sister like her? What is it that I can learn from her? I was sad that they didn't appreciate her the way I did, the way we all have. Their judgment limited their experience as children, and in retrospect, missing out on knowing Jessica was their real consequence, and one they will carry for a lifetime. Preparing for today has been incredibly bittersweet for me. I've appreciated my time with my thoughts and my memories. I've loved reliving the interactions and feelings we shared. I've been excited to tell her story and speak about her impact on the world. And I feel inadequate. I feel like there aren't enough words in the English language to describe her life and legacy. I'm frustrated that she's done so much for me, yet I'm struggling to describe it all. This poem is my feeble attempt to describe how profound Jessica's impact has been on my life. Excuse me. Jessica, because of you, I learned how to love more fully, not perfectly, but honestly. Because of you, I learned how to persevere even when I felt powerless and didn't know what to do next. You taught me that fighting can still bring miracles. You showed me that strength doesn't always look serious, that it can sound like laughter when everything else is falling apart, a happiness that refuses to disappear even when nothing goes as planned. Because of you, when life gets hard, I keep going with an unbreakable stubbornness. I learn to laugh when I can, to find light when things feel heavy. You changed me without trying to. Through everyday moments, your humor, your resilience, your smile, your grunts, and the way you loved life so deeply and so freely. You didn't just walk beside me, you shaped who I have become. Come on, paper. And even though you're no longer here by my side, the way I wish you were, the best parts of me will always carry forward all that you have taught me. Because of you, I am a stronger, kinder, and better version of myself. That is the gift you have given me, and one I will carry always. All right, I'm going to steal from Dad. Cheers to Jessica.
We're with you.
All right. I am honored to have this opportunity to remember and celebrate Jessica. I ask that we continue to approach this the way she would have, with joy that overcomes our sadness. She didn't leave us, she's changed us. She lives on in the way we love, the way we show up, and the way we find joy even when things are heavy. I am peaceful in my heart because I absolutely know, as fact, with 100% certainty, that this was Jessica's time. And I know it because, quite simply, if it weren't her time, she'd still be here. There is no power greater than her stubbornness. She had Avengers superpower levels of stubbornness. Jessica was ready for the rest she had earned and deserved. And now I'd like to invite Jamie to join us for our final poem, also adapted for Jessica, Do Not Search for Me.
Thank you, John. Do not search for me in sorrow. I am not there, but I am not gone from here. I am the warmth of the sunlight on your face. I am the calm you feel when the world grows still. I am the wind that moves through the trees, the flowers that are blooming on the warm spring day. I am the rhythm of the ocean's waves, the light that finds you when the night feels long. I am the laughter that surprises you, the warmth of a fire on a cool winter night. When you pause and breathe deeply, I am there, surrounding you. I did not leave this world behind. I have become a part of it, in love, in light, in every living thing, and I will always be with you. When you feel love, that is me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. I want to thank Jamie and Michelle for both stepping up here and sharing a poem for us. I think the four of us with Jessica shared a special childhood that I really think was unique, and I wish everyone could experience. I'd like to thank you all for coming today and sharing these memories with us. Jessica has impacted us all in a unique and special way. Momentarily, I'm going to invite you to enjoy some food and a beverage. I ask that you share stories and have a laugh. Let's celebrate her by emulating her. Joy will rule this day. Now, I'm going to ask for a little crowd participation here, and I'm going to ask for 100% participation. Any of you that have ever heard Jessica watch a movie, you know that she's got her happy grunt. It's kind of something like, right? Okay, I'd like us all to do that right now together. 1, 2, 3. Jessica, thank you for making us better. We carry you forward in how we love, how we persevere, and how we choose joy. In closing, for those of you who know, you most definitely know, Jessica had a very specific way of telling people she was done with them. She'd drop her head, gaze through the tops of her eye holes, make a little gesture, a special grunt. So in her honor, thank you.